Hello viewers, this is Mitha Guru and I am Ankit Sinha, your social science faculty. Today we are going to discuss about federalism. This is the topic of class 10th civics, and we have decided that we will give you topics, concepts in small parts so that you don't have to mull over finding different topics in a particular video. So let's get started. What is federalism? Many people might tell you that it is a tiered form of government. Yeah, they are right. Federalism is tiered form of government. Imagine a cake. Imagine a cake. Well, I'll draw a cake, but that won't be that good. Just think this is a cake. And in this cake, there are three tiers. I have taken the example of Indian government. So there are three tiers. The first is central government or union government, whatever you call it. The second is state government. And the last is local governments. So federalism is a type of a system in which powers are divided vertically. In a government, powers are divided vertically. So what is happening here is the authority on top has the most powers, and then comes the middle one, and then the bottom one. This is how the division of power works, and today we are going to discuss about that. We'll discuss. We have discussed about the concept in brief. Let's get started. So here you are seeing that this is the American flag and America. This is the best example of a federal state I can give you. So federalism is two levels of a government in a country, or maybe three levels. In India there are three levels. There are local governments known as municipal corporations or panchayats. But in America there are two levels of government. What are those? The union federal government, and the second is state governments. India has union government, state governments and local governments. India has three tiers. So it could be two or three or more than that. It doesn't. It depends on how people are dividing their powers among the in the government. National government handles big stuff. National government handles the stuff that is on a national level. You can say that those things are on a national level, like military, we call it defense, then minerals, sort of things. And then there are state governments which deal with local stuff and state level stuff like education, healthcare. You can make any rules based on them, based on what you perceive them to be. And then they work together, sharing powers. You can take a football team, for example. There's a coach, and there are 11 players on the field. They are playing, and the coach is directing them how to play. This is a kind of government federalism is. So there is a director, like union government is the director, who is giving directions to the state governments how to run the government. But in essence, we all the state governments are autonomous, means they can rule as they see fit. It ensures regional representation. How do we do that? By sending representatives from each state to the parliament. That's how regional representation works. And then examples are US, India and Germany, sort of different nations. And you can see here on the map, this is the map from your NCERT book, and these are the federal states of the world. So this is Australia, Malaysia, India, Pakistan, Russia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Germany, Austria, Belgium, Switzerland, Spain. All of these are, the red ones are the states that are federal. So if you see, a few states are small, but most of them are big. And in a big country, you need to divide it so that the administration is efficient, and that is why we divide them into states. So what are the features of federalism? Here are the features of federalism. You can see that multiple levels of government exist. Now when I am talking about the division of power, why do we need to divide power? If you have been studying history properly, you see in the French Revolution and in the Russian Revolution that the power was vested in the king or the czar, and they used the power. I can't say that they use the power, they abuse the power. Power has been given to them, and they are abusing their powers to do stuff that they want, and that is why revolutions happened. because people cannot take it anymore. So here we need to divide power so that somebody does not get drunk on their power and then abuse it. So there are two types of power division. There are two types of power division. One is vertical. Let's just write it down. Division of power in a government could be two types. First is vertical and second is horizontal. Vertical division of power is also known as federal system of division of, you can say that federalism, it is federalism, right? And the second one is a horizontal system. In a federal system, you see that the one who sits on the top has the most power, and below them, as the tiers go down, the powers are reduced. Here in horizontal, every organ of the government has the same amount of power, or we can say that they are not above or below each anyone. Like in India, there is legislative, executive, and judiciary. Give me a minute. Judiciary. And these are not binded by each other, they are independent of each other, but they keep a check on each other so that to ensure that one is not abusing their power. Like legislative has the job of making and amending laws, and if they pass a law that is not constitutional, that is not according to the Indian constitution, the Indian judiciary has the power of judicial review, by which it will review the law, and if it is not constitutional, they will take it down. That is how it works. So this federalism is the vertical division of power. It is just an example of a vertical division of power. And then there is horizontal division of power, and this is the horizontal division of power. And if you remember, this was given by a French philosopher named Montesquieu in his book, The Spirit of Laws. And this system was first adopted by US. So this is the division of power in a government. Let's just leave it. Now the second thing is, each level has its own authority. Like if you see that the union government takes on things that are important on the national level, and then the state government takes on things which are important on the state level but not the national level, and then there are local governments which have the authority to look at the cities and villages and like that. And then there is constitution. We all abide by our constitution. So constitution guarantees their existence. Constitution tells us that these things exist. And then fundamental constitution changes need both levels consent. What does this mean? See, if you are making a change in the constitution, it is called an amendment. And if you are changing something, then the union government and the state government both need to give the consent to do so. Otherwise, you can't change the constitution. Courts interpret and resolve disputes, and in this thing there is judicial review, which I just told you about. This is the power given to Supreme Courts and all the courts in India. If there is a law that is being passed and it does not abide by the constitution, then it can be taken down by the judiciary. Clear revenue sources for financial independence. These are the things that are the features of federalism. Now let's get ahead and see the types of federalism. In your book, there are only they have mentioned only two types of federalism, which is coming together and holding together. India is a holding together federation, and US is the coming together federation. So you see, coming together federation, independent states join voluntarily, like the US. In the US, all the states have come together and formed the United States. The original name of the nation is United States, and it is in America, North America. That is why it is called United States of America. Holding together, the central government makes all the provisions, divisions of the state and all, and this is why this is holding together federation, and India is the example. Then there is symmetric type of federations, like all states have equal status and powers, like in Germany. Asymmetric, different powers for different regions, like in Spain. And compact, every state is free to go whenever they want, and that is Switzerland. These are the 5 types of federalism, and in your book you only have to study about these two. Now the advantages of federalism. So here you can see the power is divided, so it's closer to the people, allowing local issues to be addressed effectively. What is happening here? Why would you divide power, and how is it how does it make the government closer to the people? So if you are dividing powers and every state has a say in whatever is being done or made, like if you are changing a constitution, then every state needs to give the consent. If they do not, the constitution can't be changed. There will be no amendments. So what is how does it make the people closer to the government? Because you elect the people who are going to amend the constitution or anything that happens in the nation. You choose the people who rule the nation, and that is why it is closer to the people. Different regions have a say in government, reflecting diverse cultures. If you see, every state sends representatives to the parliament so that they can raise your issues into the parliament, and this is what this paragraph is saying. States can adapt policies to suit their unique circumstances, promoting innovation and experimentation. Like in India, Jammu Kashmir had a different constitution, but it was taken down, and this is the example of that states can have their own constitution if needed. Like Nagaland, it doesn't have its own constitution, but it has been given a special status. Multiple levels of government check and balance each other, preventing abuse of power, which I have been speaking around. And then federal systems help manage conflicts by accommodating regional differences. What is happening here? Regional differences, how can we accommodate regional difference in a federal system? By sending representatives. If there is a state, let's go about this in a different way. You do 2 or 3 types of election, but the main elections are general elections, in which you select the government of the whole nation, and then there are state elections in which you select the government for the state. So when you are voting in the state elections, you are choosing a representative so that they can represent you in the parliament. Federal system. Quick response to crisis. Because there are local levels of governments, they have their own powers. I have to explain this. They have their own powers, and so if there are adverse situations like riots or something like that, the governments can act swiftly. Encourage citizens to engage in politics at various levels, like you go chamber elections, you vote in the state elections, you vote in the national elections, which is general elections, and this is how it works. It can safeguard the rights of minority groups within regions. You know about the reservations, and this is how the rights of minorities have been secured. So folks, that's it for today. In the next video, we'll discuss about some other topic. Till then, stay tuned and follow and subscribe Mira Guru.